All right, welcome back to the channel, Sierra Kilo Mining. Hope to earn your subscription today. Like I mentioned earlier in my intro, I was going to start building a dry washer. So I live in Boise, Idaho. We got a lot of great blasting areas that are an hour or two from here, but a lot of them have been worked pretty hard. They are under active claims as we speak. So with that in mind, a lot of the areas I've been exploring, because I've been wanting to see less people and get out and see other things, are really dry, deserty areas. Like there's benches, there's terraces, there's a bunch of old riverbeds out there. So I've been looking into these places, been pulling samples, doing things like that. And I've been finding some really decent gold in these areas, and a lot of them are untouched, or they stopped working them in the 1940s because of World War II. But the biggest issue with them is there's no water near. And like the areas I've tried to set sluices up in when there is water, it's either spring or it's fall, and there's just not enough water pushing down, like to run that sluice properly. So I've had some success, but 9 times out of 10, I end up bringing back a lot of light material mixed in with my heavies. Like I'm just not doing good gold recovery. So I was talking to a really good friend of mine, and I was like, man, like we should look into a dry washer. And I know it because there's people out there that are like, why don't you just go buy one? Because like Keen Engineering and some of these other companies make some absolutely amazing products. That's cool and all. I like to do things my own way. I'm that guy. The more you get to know me, you'll see me like not always the most conventional dude. And I like tinkering in my garage. I like building things, making them work. I'm not the most mechanically minded guy. I'll admit that right now. But it's fun. Like that's part of what I do here and like the things I enjoy. Like, and I get out here, I'm going to build something. I'm going to try to make it work. And so I know people are going to have feedback, and I'd love to hear your feedback, honestly. If you've built these before, or you've had like people that people that build them and they have good tips and tricks, leave us a comment. Like talk to me. Like let's have an ongoing conversation about this, because I'm always trying to get better, trying to change the things I do to be better. So anyways, enough on that. I'm going to start building this frame. So we'll talk to you in a little bit. Just sanded those down a little bit just to clean them up a little bit, as you saw. Doesn't really matter. It's not finished carpentry, but I just want to get some of the rough edges off there and make it a little bit easier to work with. Chuck's bothered me again because he's the coolest. Say hi, buddy. Anyways, so gonna clamp this together. Gonna pre-drill our holes. Gonna use some construction screws I got laying around. They're these fellas right here. So the way I did it, it's probably overkill. Don't care. My jig was a little bit off. Got 5 holes, like I said, pre-drilled them. Gonna make those things good and tight, and then we'll attach that bellows to it. All right, so sometimes I'm bad about turning on my camera while I'm working or setting it up. But got all of our holes pre-drilled. Everything's sitting in. I'm gonna finish screwing in this back piece over here, and then we should have our frame. I'm gonna sand it, clean it up. Sadly, this wood's a little wet. I'm actually really kind of disappointed with it. It's soft too. Had some of these screws going a little deeper than I wanted to, but I'll probably just leave those alone and call it good. Okay, so we're getting the part. We're gonna cut this piece of plywood. Like I said, it's gonna be the bottom of our bellows. And I've got this basically like this continuous hinge, piano hinge, whatever you want to call it. We're gonna mount that to the outside, and then that'll allow this contraption to rotate. So Stay tuned. We'll get this figured out. Okay, so I got those that piano hinge on there. Yeah, screws are a little different colored. Got that. Don't tear me apart for it. I use those longer screws for the top part because I have more material to work with, and there's gonna be like pressure and stuff. So I wanted to go a little bit longer with those, and I just used a pretty standard screw that didn't go all the way through our 2x4 up top. Hopefully it doesn't come back to backfire on us, but that's where it's going. Definitely not the most square piece of plywood ever. And then also I'm not the best builder, so it's probably also not the best squarest frame. But we're making progress. This thing is going to sit there. We got some canvas we'll put into it later. Gonna make this into a drive, or not a drive shaft, sorry, a connecting rod at some point maybe. We'll see. I got a few thoughts on that, but I think I'm gonna stop here for tonight.